Hello there. This is another segment on Heartfelt with Bobbie on DWJ, and today I have a beautiful, beautiful guest, and you guys know her name. You've seen her face here a million times. I'm just going to let her introduce herself, and then we can get into the topic that we're discussing today. Hi, Muyu.
Hi.
So for people who are watching for the first time today, just tell us. I know we know you, but just tell us.
I don't think so.
Wewe ni nani na unafanya nini? Yes.
So my name is Muyu Kamau. I'm a law student. I am a professional mediator. What else? And I guess I just love life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're passionate about, speaking.
And I'm passionate about women.
Yes. I love that. And actually that's what we're discussing today.
Yeah.
So, this story, what's that guy's name, Jagero?
Egbanga.
I want to talk about
Ebang. Baltazar.
Okay.
Ebang.
I don't want to botch his name.
Yeah.
But you guys, you know what I'm talking about. The guy who's been trending for leaked almost 400 videos of women. But I want to look at it from this angle. Right before these videos leaked, there was a lady on the internet who was posting about, having sex with 100 men, and she documented the process. Were you able to see that? Okay, the week before, there's this white lady who was planning on having sex with 100 men, and she was documenting the whole process, and she went viral all over, formerly Twitter, X.
Yeah.
And people were talking about her. She went viral on TikTok, viral on Twitter, and the comments were so different from the ones we're seeing from this guy from Equatorial Guinea. And you can imagine how the comments were. People were saying, she's a slut, she's dirty, she's a whore, she's ni.
Yeah.
All sorts of derogatory stuff you can think about.
Yeah.
1 week later, a man trends for doing the same thing. And what's happening? They're making memes about it.
Yeah.
They're laughing about it. They're praising him. They're calling him the GOAT.
You're in the wrong career.
They're likening him to, big shots. Like he's
King
someone
Solomon.
who's King Solomon. They're saying he's this big guy. And we can see this conversation comes up almost every other week. Tell me, how do you feel about the whole situation?
Just like you've said, there's the differences in the comments are like day and night. I think from way back in the day, sex has always been created to favor the man, and it's a man thing. Men are the only people who are, expected to have feelings of sex and things like that. And when women are also exercising their biological, expression and stuff like that, they're shamed for it. And like you're saying, there's a lot of slut shaming for, calling them sluts, and then, they're loose, they do this and the other. But I ask myself, all of this has just stemmed from the world being patriarchal. Everything, or like the major things that really like rule the world, or like really are the fundamentals of life, have all been constructed in a way that favors the man. So anytime a woman is doing what is expected to be done by a man, it's very awkward and it's very off, and she's not accepted, and she's sort of, like ostracized, and a lot of shaming comes with it. So it's very much double standards, because when people are having sex in a heterosexual situation, it's a man and a woman. So I don't see why one party is sort of praised for it and the other is called a slut. So like I said, it's just the effects of patriarchy. We're still living in it. It's heavily strong. We feel it. Sometimes it can be toned down, very subtle. Maybe you can't even really notice it, but it's just very heartbreaking to see. And like I saw, actually, 3 women have committed suicide. It just goes to show how it's just not accepting. You can imagine waking up and your sex tapes are all over the internet, and you're shamed for it.
Yeah.
And the man is being called King Solomon, the Don, and things like that, as if you were having sex on your own. So it's just a lot of double standards. I don't know if we'll ever get to a place where things are different, but for now, there's a lot of work to be done internally.
Yeah. And we see a lot of this micro aggressions showing up, like not just in, the internet setting.
No.
As a woman especially, I try a lot to explain to men. I feel like I do it every day. There's a point, every day at some point of my day, I have to explain why I'm a human being. Or why I deserve to be treated like a person. And trying to explain it, especially to men, it's a very difficult job. This shows up in workplace, in the home.
Yeah.
Sometimes even with your lover. Sometimes with makanga, kwa barabara, mtu tu anatembea. And what are, especially in your life, what are some of the ways you see this effects of patriarchy like manifesting in your own personal life?
Yeah. I think I would start by saying I might not exactly be the best person to answer that question. Reason being, I feel like my whole life I've been very confident. I've never dealt with things like imposter syndrome. Everywhere I've been, everywhere I go, things that I choose to do, I feel 100% deserving. So when I walk,
that definitely helps when you're dealing, especially with men.
Yeah, and I think I'm very forward about it. So even when people approach me, it's from a place of we need to tread carefully, because I'm very confident in myself and my worth and what I bring to the table. And for that reason, I just feel like it helped the journey a little to make it a little easier. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that you'll feel it. You'll walk into a place, or maybe there's something happening, and somebody asks oh, I thought it was a man who was going to be, doing this. When I was doing my mediation internship practice type of thing, I remember the first one, I walked in and everyone was like, oh, I thought it was going to be a man. And I was just like, do you have a problem that it's me?
Yeah.
And if you feel like you have a problem, it's okay, you can pick somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's never gotten to me as such.
Yeah.
As you're saying, men will always be given the, what do we say?
Privilege.
The privilege.
Yeah.
If you look in the political setting, men who are married are considered more even valuable.
Work, even when it comes to being paid. Yeah.
But you find that when a woman is married, they're like, you don't think it will hinder you from traveling, or you're being tied down. It's and a lot of things. And the thing that people might not notice, even in the pronouns that we use, Miss, Mr., Mrs., Miss, especially for the whip. We don't have Mr., or something like Mr. for men. Your identity is always attached to a man. You're a Mrs. because you're attached to a man. When you divorce, or when you're a young woman looking to get married, you're now a Miss. When you're pretty young, you're a Miss with an S. You understand? So it's the bone of our existence. We can't exist outside the circle of being attached to a man.
Yeah.
It's it's disgusting.
I can feel your exhaustion even.
Let me just sip my drink.
Especially,
it's disgusting.
And I wanted to ask, this confidence that you have, this let me just say confidence that helps you, navigate.
Yeah.
A lot of us had to work through it. A lot of us had to, learn on the job. I'm 28. This is when I'm learning some of these things.
Yeah.
And it's just, so my question is, who taught you how to show up like this? Because it's not common sense. Because your womanhood will be tested in every instance.
That's
true. And it will start from as young as you are.
Exactly.
Usicheze na hizo tractors. Enda ucheze na zile vitu za
kupika. You do, Bobbie. Yeah.
Go
to the kitchen. Yes.
When the boys are seated during Christmas, the women are all in the kitchen cooking. When the girls are the men are being picked for, important things. The girls are subordinate. In the office, you could be hired to be, a secretary, but they will expect you to be washing the dishes some office settings. The last place I worked, the last office, I really hate that place. That's why I keep talking about it sometimes. The last place I worked a 9-to-5 job. The lady boss who was there, she hated women. And you could see it in the way she spoke to women, the way she disregarded women. And something that made me know I can't stay here further. There's a time we had like 4 pregnant girls at the same time in the office. It was a small office where like 12, but like 4 people are pregnant. So it kind of changes the dynamics of work. But amongst ourselves as employees, us guys would cover for the women who are not able to perform. True. Ni common sense. Kama Roberta kona ball na ezi show up 100%. We cover her so that it doesn't show that she's not performing. But it's we can see she's unwell. I'm not saying pregnancy is an unwellness, but like the symptoms that come with it. And this woman hated the pregnant girls. She would see them walk in and she would call meetings to call them out. And mtu hataezi tembea, ako 8 months, 9 months, miguu zimefura. You know how they weighed, with their back and everything. And she would hate on them. She would talk so much shit about women. That showed me if I stay here, it means I'm kind of complacent. It's like I agree with what she's doing. Yeah. Because nobody was ever able to call her out. And I know the reason I was let go was because I was vocal about such things.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but now tell me, ikitu ina show up in every setting. You can't really ignore, whether it's in the church, it's at home, it's with your friends. Sometimes even with your squad, you're chilling and the boys make shady comments.
Exactly.
And you try to explain, that's not a joke. It's funny only to you guys. Yeah. But like, these jokes end up in women dying.
And I'm concerned that you find it funny. Yeah. Men actually don't have friends like that. And I think people know, I can't have a friend like that. Yeah. And I think maybe that's my toxic trait. I'm very quick to cut people off.
There's nothing toxic about cutting people off.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes I won't even have to tell you. You'll just like, how the hell can you sit to make such a comment and stuff like that? So to answer your question, I can't really say what's really built that confidence in me. I have had moments where I felt not confident at all, but I think the desire to be the best version of myself is sort of like the driving force in my life. Because I ask myself, how will I feel knowing I had the opportunity to do this? Nothing was holding me back apart from myself. And sometimes you need to come to the realization that sometimes the thoughts you're having in your head, people actually don't have those thoughts about you. It's just in your head. And you need to get out of your head. It's difficult because, again, it's a reality for many. But the confidence, I guess, I don't know. I can't really say where it came from. Were you born with it?
Is it your parents who spoke to you like this?
I think as well, I was really affirmed growing up, even especially by like the people around me. I would speak even just for 1 minute. Someone would be like, "Oh my gosh, you speak so well." I would do something that was so phenomenal. I think the affirmation has led me up until this point where, of course, there's people who have spoken down on me and, tried to put me down. But I feel like the voices that really spoke life into me have been the loudest. And they've really rubbed off on me in a great way. Because everybody I've met is somehow marveled by who I am. Somehow they're marveled by the kind of person that I'm growing up to be. And what I realized is that when it comes to opinion is the lowest form of knowledge because you don't really require accountability. You don't require any responsibility. But the moment you're able to empathize because you're laying down a lot of your own to feel someone else is where I think the highest form of knowledge begins to thrive. And when you get to a place where you realize it's just an opinion, this one will say today you look like shit, and the other one, you don't even need to finish 2 seconds, someone will be worshipping the ground you walk on. So if you're always going by people's opinion, it will really taint who you are. People will start to define your identity. And let me tell you something, live how you want to live. Be who you are. Everyone else will adjust. And if they're not adjusting, then you're in the wrong place. And find your circle. There's always people who are there. There's always your circle.
Yeah.
Always.
I love how you framed it. I love exactly how you've explained it, because you know, when people think about confidence, I think they think it's something like you go to class
to learn,
you sit somewhere, but it's the internal work. Like you have to wake up and say, okay, from Thursday 8 a.m. I'm going to be confident.
Yeah.
There's
and
no
sometimes fake it. Fake it till
yes.
you make it. Sometimes you really don't feel confident.
Yeah.
But it's okay to fake it. Just put up your pants and just show up
and become who you want to be.
Become who you want to be. At the end of the day, when you're dying on your like on your deathbed, you can't blame anyone for the type of life you chose. And when you choose to make those decisions, every consequence you feel it alone. You experience it alone. When you're living your best life, you're living your best life alone. So if you're always trying to please everybody around you, confidence is very difficult. And you don't always feel confident. I don't think you can ever get to a place where you feel, okay, now I've reached my highest form of confidence. Tomorrow I can wake up feeling like, Yeah.
Especially being a woman.
Yeah.
It's hormones, patriarchy.
What?
We're not even paid enough. We're not.
Do you know, I was listening to a lady say they were going for a job interview and they were both applying for the same job. She was of a higher qualification, but she just needed the job. But when they were now discussing, you know, what do you expect to be paid? And she said her quotation, and the man coincidentally said his. The recruiter asked the lady, but like, why do you need all that money for? Because like, what responsibilities do you have? And the man was just like, okay, we understand that you're a man. You might have responsibility. I was shocked. I was shocked because as a woman, you don't have responsibilities or what? In fact, being a woman is more expensive than it is being a man.
You use your money on makeup.
And so what's wrong with that anyway?
Hair, like it's a very minute thing that has no importance.
And even if I decide to splash 1 million shillings on makeup today, tomorrow, and the next, what problem is it of yours?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yani, I always say anytime I start speaking on women's issues, I didn't have a very strong, can I say female? I didn't have a very strong female community, you know, with confidence and that stood up to men, that said, my family is, sorry to say, but my family is full of, they call them pick-mishas. My family is full of pick-me women. I don't say that in a derogatory way. I say that in just the way they were raised.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, women who are, you know, deep in religion, they believe in culture, kabsa. They almost bow to men, but not out of love and respect. It's out of fear, out of fear of what will happen.
If I don't,
I might get hit. I might get beaten up. I might get killed. So I grew up in such an environment. And I was the only one questioning things as a young girl, like, why?
And everyone probably thought, like, you're so stubborn.
Why do you want me to cook? I cooked lunch. Right. I made breakfast.
And what's your brother doing?
The boys are just chilling in the living room. He's been outside playing. I haven't had time to be a kid. I've been in the house being a wife and mother the whole day at 8 years old.
Mothering your siblings.
My siblings and basically even my father. Because it's like me ndo nampikia ni
you serve him.
And he's the adult in this situation.
Right.
So for me, breaking out of that, you know, I had a lot of moments where I really doubted myself.
I'm sure.
It's like, what am I doing really? Ama kuna shida na mimi juu mbona mi na feel si normal kukwa mboch kwa hii nyumba when everyone else gets to enjoy. My mom is the breadwinner and she would still come home
and cook
and still do everything
and clean and
while
serve.
The boys are just chilling. So I always used to ask myself, and the confidence I have now, I'd say formed from rebellion. It formed from me just being tired. I reached a point, I think I was like in Form 2, and I said, nope.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore. I've been cooking, I've been cleaning, I'm 16 years old. I need time to see my friends, to do things. And my family, by the way, took it a very, very bad way.
I'm sure.
So I've always just been like the black sheep of the whole extended family. The bold girl who talks and says what she's thinking. But even that came with a lot of being shunned, being pushed away, being avoided, being never supported.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I stood my ground was because maybe I have the privilege of like, when you is it you who were talking about the privilege of not being boxed?
Yeah.
Like understanding opportunities are limitless and
Yes,
you can be anyone
for sure.
and you can become anything.
Yeah.
So I always had that notion within my head. But even now I see trying to explain to my mom, indo vitu nafanya haezi ona,
She can't.
haezi elewa. So that's where my confidence comes from, rebellion. But what would you say to a girl who's watching you and wonder, anaweza ona wako kwa TV wako sawa, au ni warembo wako sawa, au wako na pesa wako sawa? Is that why you're the way you are? Is it because you have the privilege, or is this advice we're giving running across board? Can it apply to a woman who doesn't have the privileges you have?
Yeah. I think before I answer that question, let me just say that the moment you're born a girl, you're groomed for a man from the moment you're born. And it starts even when what you're saying. The boys are outside playing, but you're the one who's cooking, you're the one who cleans. Sometimes you'll even clean after your own siblings. They're probably older. You'll clean after even, like for you, your own father. And all of these experiences leading up to you being an appropriate wife. And you'll hear people come and say, Sasa nani atakuoa?
So it's just grooming. It's
you're
grooming
just
from
exactly
birth.
You're being groomed, and you'll find it comes out even in dowry negotiations when a man is telling the person coming to marry you, huyu nimemsomesha, she's gone to university, she has this and this degree, she's done this, she's recognized here. It's like everything you experience as a woman is all for the acceptance of a man,
Yeah.
And people need to break out of that. I think for me, I've always, I could see it when I was growing up. My mom would sort of like tell me, you do the dishes. But I got to a place where I would just be like, no, I washed dishes at lunchtime. My brother needs to wash. And my mom is becoming more and more liberal. And I'm so proud of her growth, because you'll hear her speaking and I'm just like,
I did that.
Yeah, And I'm just like, yeah, even these boys can do their own stuff, because cooking and cleaning are not chores. They're not like gender roles. They're just life skills. Everybody needs to know how to clean themselves. Everybody needs to know how to cook. So it can't be confined to just women or just men. And you'll find the thing about masculinity and femininity has also been misconstrued and to fit the patriarchy, where when you're feminine, you're just soft-spoken. You don't speak your mind. You just sit in the corner and shut
listen.
It. Good girls don't get the corner office.
Yes. Yes.
So, again, this whole thing of masculinity and femininity, you need to decide as a human being, outside what everybody defines things to be. Who are you? How do you want to exist? Because that's the only place you'll get fulfillment. Because the next time you'll speak up to your man, you'll think, shit, maybe I'm a bit too masculine.
I've done too much.
Yeah. And you'll just keep up with that cycle. But to that young girl, it has nothing to do with your surrounding. Sometimes it can be difficult. I know maybe you're trying to keep the peace. It's fine, keep the peace. But at the end of the day, spread your wings and fly. You won't be in your parents' home forever if that's where the strain is coming from. Just keep the peace for that moment so that you can also protect your heart. Once you have the chance to live and you can experience life as a whole, I think now you can spread your wings and fly. And I'm the biggest, I think maybe because I just like school and stuff like I love education. Like I could stay in school my whole life.
Yeah.
I tell people, I know people say school maybe is not the only way and everything. True, you don't have to be the A student. You don't always have to be top of your class. But there's an exposure that education does to your mind. There's something that it does to your thinking. And I don't even mean like class. Read outside, listen to people. Podcasts. People are talking about things that people don't want to talk about.
Yes.
Have these conversations. I I know maybe even like Christian-wise, I'm a Christian, but there's a lot of things I know people hear me talk about and they're just like rolling their eyes.
Msichana.
She's amepotea.
Yeah.
Amepotea.
Yeah.
Just spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
And I'm just really proud of the women that are just beginning to show up for themselves.
And
I'm
carrying
so
other
happy.
women like along.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to even see like someone say, I've just decided to be child-free. Or I've decided I don't want to get married. And that's absolutely okay. And it just breaks my heart when I hear someone say, oh my God, you won't regret it. Like, it's like a woman's existence can't be on its own, or it can't just be so unless there's other factors, unless there's children, unless there's a man. It's crazy to me. So just analyze your situation. See where you're able to be yourself. Sometimes you have to try and keep the peace for your own sake. But when you get the opportunity to fly, please, by all means, grab it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I agree. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
How are you able to like bring your mom to this space where like she's, willing to learn and willing to do better and willing to just see things from a different perspective?
I didn't even do it intentionally. I think, like I said, I've not always been vocal, especially at home. I've not always been a vocal child. But you'll find like sometimes because for example, maybe the house help will go on Sunday or something, and maybe we're home on that day. So if I do the breakfast dishes and somebody does, or like there's dishes all of a sudden lunchtime and my brother is in the house, I just won't do the dishes. And
like quiet quitting.
Yeah, I won't do the dishes.
Yeah.
And if by the end of the day no one has done the dishes, too bad, you know? So I think that way, I even hear my mom like now sort of even telling my brother like, clean up your stuff, like do this and the other. I think she's also learning. She's been doing a lot of psychology and stuff. So I think she's also trying to understand, human experiences and things like that. And she's a city girl, I guess. She's not too close-minded. But there's always room for growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what sijui naweza peleka mamangu class gani. I mean, I see the effort,
but don't try and change anybody.
Yes.
Just don't do it with the aim of changing someone.
Yes.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, she's just bounded in her own brain.
Yes.
She's acting like that not because she wants to, but just because she doesn't know better.
Yes.
And you can't really blame everybody for that. Sometimes I also look at like some of my relatives and I'm just like, it's okay, I don't blame you. It's just the experiences that life has put you through. That's why you're like this.
Yeah.
And that's where now empathy like plays in,
And grace and kindness.
Yeah. And you're a grown woman now. You don't exactly need your mom
be
to
on
hold you.
mommy's titty.
Yes, no, you don't. You're able to just be. And let me tell you, your mom can take 10, 50, 100 years, but eventually she'll adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked that question because some of these women, they will put you in direct harm. They will put you in direct harm of other men. And sometimes they will cheer on these men because they feel it's justified. You know? Yeni malaya. Hey. Anavanga hivo.
Because it's so ingrained.
You'll hear such comments about even women. Wametoka church, wamekama hapo lunch, wanachila ati, hey, wacha bwanake amchape ndo ingie line. Wacha, we can say yes, okay, I don't need my mom or whatever. But kwa ground reality ni, these women are actually harmful.
Yes.
And they will put you in harm's way.
Yeah.
So how do you think you would advise someone to navigate such a situation?
I would say family is, you don't have the privilege of choosing your family, but you found yourself there and it's fine. But you're not forced to keep a circle or to keep your family around if they're constantly putting you in harm's way. If I'm being beaten up by my husband or by my boyfriend and I go tell my mom and she's like, just familiar, hata sisi tulichapa or something, because I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And you just think to yourself like, this is not, because with time, human beings the thoughts form our habits and we become what we are. So every day today I go to my auntie, she says the same thing. Hata sisi tulichapwa, just rudi tu vumilia, don't provoke your man, don't do this. It's almost as though their bad behavior is as a result of us.
Yes.
Men can never take accountability for just having bad behavior in general. If I slap my wife, it's no, she provoked me, she deserved it. So what I would truly say is, if you know that you'll go to somebody and they'll just sort of affirm that, and you know in your heart it made you feel horrible, because why is someone laying their hands on you? Why is someone talking to you like shit? Why is someone treating you like nothing? And at the end of the day, this is a relationship in this situation. You chose to be with this person. If you don't like me, move along. Like hell, there's plenty of people. So don't necessarily keep people around because you want to keep the peace in terms of, this is my family and I have to make them happy, but you're dying. And that's what's killing a lot of people. And I think that's what happens to these university girls. Maybe they're too scared to tell their mom, I have a boyfriend. Because how do I take you to university?
I hadn't thought about like that long term. Like, yes, it's affecting you in the home, but like, it's going to affect all your choices in your relationships as well.
Yeah, because if I'm thinking, it's my first year maybe of university, maybe even my first semester, I already have a boyfriend. How do I even go and tell my mom? What is she gonna think?
Never, because they will beat me up.
Like, did I take you to school to get boyfriends? You know.
So even when your boyfriend is beating you,
you keep it to yourself. And who are you going to tell you're being beaten? Because if not your mom, because what are you gonna do if it's not? Because if you guys are cohabiting and you're living together, and maybe he's your source of money, the only other place you can go maybe is home, because your friend won't host you for like 3 years. Your cousin maybe doesn't want to host you either. Your auntie has her own children. Everybody has their own life to live, and I won't stop my life to cover up your inconvenience. You understand? So you decide to keep it within you, and you'll keep grow. You'll be beaten the first day. You'll be beaten a whole year, and by the time you're choosing to get married to this man, it's because it's so normal.
You've been beaten down.
You've been beaten. It's so normal. And you know the thing about abuse, you form a trauma bond. You become so addicted to that abuse such that you don't know anything else. And the day you find a good man, it's like, this is not real. Yeah, you can't accept love.
My goodness.
And you find yourself in that cycle. And you'll find men target. You don't find yourself, you don't stumble on an abusive relationship. Those men target you.
Amekupangia.
Because they
Muyu
know.
is a sweet girl.
This one will take my profanity. This one will take my abuse. But if you know me, I'll call you out on your shit. You can't. You wouldn't dare.
I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their own country, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using paybill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever, because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to programming.
I'm learning from this conversation. I need to stop being a bit too nice. Because
stop being nice.
Because I think it perpetuates the abuse. And I think it's not even niceness. I think it's fear manifesting as, you know, those giggles. Like when someone will make an absurd comment.
You know?
And I'll be like... I will remove myself, but like, I can tell it's a fear. It's a fear.
It's a fear
I'm
that
thinking,
you have.
how will he act when I call it out? You know, like, can he stab me? Is he hiding a knife?
I get that.
You know, does he have a gun? Is he gonna hit me? So my first thought is flight.
Yeah.
Let me just run away from this situation. So how do you advise that, like, women especially?
Yeah.
How do you advise that when we're in these situations that we navigate it? When you're in a situation that... I know you've kind of already answered it, like with the mom, but now you're in this situation with friends. You said you don't keep such friends around, but like umesema pia, you know, these abusers, they're schemers.
Yes.
They plan.
Yeah, they know plan.
They know Muyu is a nice girl. Roberta laughs when I make such jokes. So how do you even come to the awareness that anyway, that joke is not...
It's not a joke.
Shouldn't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes jokes are really masked into something that maybe is not cute at all. You'll find someone telling you, oh my God, a man, maybe a girl, oh my God, your confidence is
You're so confident
for you know, you're too confident.
What do they say?
You're so confident for a girl of your age,
yes.
or for, I don't know, it's like, do you say thank you?
It's like he
or
was,
what
he
do you
was
want?
banking on you not being confident,
and
now you've
shocked
him.
Yeah. Now you've shocked him. I think it's very easy to pick up on those small things. And the moment you feel unsure, this is my advice to women. Get your bag. Because a lot of people can't live because they're with this person for money. And it's tying them down. And it's difficult to go back to like a state where you're not able to survive. Get your bag. There's a sort of strength and power and confidence and liberty that money brings, and security. And just be okay with the idea of, I can wake up tomorrow and if he hits me, I'm well okay to just walk out. The moment a man realizes that you're the prize and all these other things that are around are just add-ons. So you're getting into this relationship not because there's anything.
You need him.
Yeah, I don't need you. It's just because I want you. And whether or not you're here, my life will go on perfectly fine. So it's be able to pick up on those small traits that hint at this could be a potential abuser.
Yes.
Someone who's constantly raising their voice. Someone who's always very quick to have a reaction. You know, before you get into a relationship, I think put someone in a high pressure situation. See how they take that. Because if you're planning on doing life with someone, life has its pressures. So are they the type to, you know, they've been sacked, so they come and take it out on you? Or are they able to separate baggage? Like sort of compartmentalizing your brain that this is my girlfriend and these are my friends and these are my, you know, this is my life and things like that. Keep friends also who support you and friends who can call out.
In such things, like
exactly.
Especially friends who are better at it than you.
Because you might not always know everything. No one is perfect to know everything. But your friend would say something like, your man said this and this. I feel
I didn't like it.
I
had the way he was talking on the phone.
I didn't like it.
Yes.
And maybe slowly by slowly. And the moment you feel in your spirit, I feel like your gut feeling never lies. If your spirit has said no,
especially as a woman,
yeah, just go, just go,
yeah,
just go and get tested.
Oh my God, that's something I was actually thinking about doing today. You're just going to get
tested.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit happening outside here. Get tested. If you're active, like having sex and you don't want children, don't rely on a man to protect you, because hell, maybe this man, like, he probably doesn't even give a shit about you. You take care of you. Yeah.
You know something about men? They put their interest first.
Number one.
They think about themselves.
Yeah.
They enter spaces asking themselves, what am I going to benefit? What will it do for me?
Yes.
Am I happy here? Am I making money? But women, it's like the opposite. It's like,
what am I going to do for him?
Is everyone okay? Have I taken care of people?
And that's what I'm saying, because your whole identity, you've been groomed and you've been taught your whole life.
Yeah.
You can't exist outside a community where you're only serving the people around you. Watering people that don't even water you back. Just keep constantly choosing people that choose you. It doesn't matter who that is. And it doesn't matter if you have 2 friends. It's not about quantity. It's always quality.
It's true.
I can't stress that enough. I just can't.
I want to bring this conversation to a sexual point of view.
Right.
You know, we started by talking about this guy, Bang. I don't want to botch his name.
Yeah.
But like
the Guinea
now
guy.
the girl, now the lady who was documenting herself, having sex with multiple men. I know in this conversation, when it comes up like this, it might come from a competitive point of view, like if women can do it, men can do it. But how do you truly feel about, sexual liberation?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this situation is ideal? Do you feel like a woman doing such things is like freedom and liberation and she knows herself? Or do you have thoughts that this is exactly what the patriarchy wants us to do and they are pulling strings at the back so that we can participate in this derogatory stuff? Because at the end of the day, we're never going to win.
No, you're not.
As long as you're under patriarchy as a woman and you decide, I can do this derogatory stuff better than men.
Yeah.
It already puts you in a box like, ni ngumu kukutetea kidogo, lakini, yes, tunataka ukwe free, lakini maybe we can do it in other ways.
Yeah, or like, so don't record.
Tell me how you feel about that. Tell me how you feel about, sex. Is women having sex with anyone and anyone more of a liberation, or is it just us trying to compete with these dogs in nasty stuff? Pigs with playing in the mud. That's the best analogy.
What I would say is men and women, at the heart of it, we're both human beings and we're both sexual beings. The same way a man can have their own sexual fantasies and sexual, hiatus and stuff, is the same way a woman can have the same.
Yes.
So the notion of now apparently the woman being liberated for me is sort of again under the patriarchy. You understand?
It's still like we're asking for permission.
Yeah, because why is it liberation when I'm having sex?
It's just
when
normal.
It's just sex at the end of the day. Everything that you say, it's liberating. It's because you're going outside what is expected of you. It's like being child-free. It's women empowerment. It's women liberation.
But it's just normal.
It's just because why is it a big deal then?
I'm just a human being who doesn't want kids, and that's it.
Yeah. So why are we calling it liberation? Why are we saying that me choosing to have sex with 1,000 people is liberation? But at the same time, I am also Christian, and that holds like a lot of. It brings also a lot out in me in terms of like my thought processes as well, but I'm not blind to the fact that there's Christianity, there's religion, and there's real life. So you'll be told not to have, sex until marriage, and you'll find that it's only for the women, where women are mostly considered virgins. And for me, virginity is a social construct.
Like a social construct.
It is.
It's just a thing.
It's just a thing where, because they say apparently now when you break your hymen,
it's to lose
your virginity to a man.
Yes.
You understand? But at the end of the day, I can lose my virginity, or I can break my hymen. I can go horse riding, I can ride a bike, and I can break my hymen. So what does that mean then? I broke my virginity. All of this to a bike.
Because it's like it has to be tied to this masculine energy.
Exactly. It has to exist. Exactly.
Or recognized.
Exactly.
The same example you gave with like Mrs. and Miss.
It has to be, where's the man in this so that it can make sense? So for me, it's just that whole concept of liberation is still the effects of the patriarchy. They want you to know that you're going against the
Go up,
patriarchy.
back end.
Yeah, and that's why you're feeling liberated.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's if it was normal, then I don't think I would be saying I'm liberated.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
Because men don't say that. Men
No.
don't say I broke my virginity.
No, they don't.
I lost my virginity.
To who?
I
Exactly. But like I was saying, in the Bible, you'll hear a lot of, don't have sex until you're married. Don't have, and that's actually where I stand. Like in this place of just don't have sex right now unless you're sure that you want to have sex, unless you're certain that you want to have sex, unless you're ready to deal with the consequences of having sex. When you place all of that on the table and it's like a tick box. Yes, I'm ready for this. Yes, I'm ready for that. Then you can by all means have sex. Because a lot of the times we have sex, even in relationships, you'll find people are just like, this man might leave me because I want to be celibate, or I'm just not ready. So you just end up,
or you're
having
just having sex because you have a boyfriend.
Yeah, and you think it's normal.
What people do.
And that's what people
when you're
do.
In a relationship,
they have sex. No, it's not right. You're the only one who can write the script of your life, nobody else. And no one holds your destiny in their hands. So I just think, don't rush to sex, especially for a woman. Biologically, there was a study that was saying women produce oxytocin when they're having sex.
The bonding hormones and the happy hormones. Yeah.
Sort of like what is released when a woman is giving birth. And then a man just releases dopamine. So it's just the happy hormone that you're out of this world.
It's just a normal
you're excited, So even biologically, we're not the same. Our sexual experiences can never be the same. So I feel like as a woman, you have a lot more to do in terms of protecting your emotional stability, your emotional health, your mental capability.
Yes.
We don't exactly always, in that moment, you might not even have the emotional bandwidth to figure out, fine, I'm having sex, but how am I going to feel after? Will I be proud of myself? Will I be happy with the decision that I've made? Because once you have sex, you can't undo it. And it's not something to, hover around your head. Just move on. But take care and
the
think
work
about
is
it.
ours.
Yes, the work is yours.
They could wake up and go, but Sisi, you have to think about CGE pills.
That's it.
CGE P2. CGE, has he called you because you're anxious?
You're anxious,
because your emotional health, your mental health, now you're itchy. Is it a yeast infection or gonorrhea?
Am I sick?
Because women show more, symptoms faster than men. Then us, we still have to go to the hospital. Yeah,
and there's the shame, because how do you go to the hospital and say, I
have what?
There's something going on down there. Everyone is gonna look at you like,
and then they don't
how
go by
fucking
the way.
Irresponsible.
Even with the statistics of like STIs and HIVs, you'll see the numbers varying, because they'll say 80% of the people tested positive for syphilis are women, and then we're here saying it's women who have syphilis. No, bro.
They didn't
men
get
are not
tested.
going to the hospital, and the women are, sorry to say, sometimes only going because of prenatal stuff. So I think it's your fear equal.
And let me tell you, it's so important to be tested and to keep yourself safe when it comes to sex. I was talking to a gynecologist, and she was telling me about the IUD. It's perhaps becoming the most popular form of contraception, because it's a one-time thing and you're good to go. It's non-hormonal. One of them is non-hormonal. But she was saying the risk of having this IUD is that you need to know that you have a faithful partner, and you're only keeping one partner. Because the moment you get an STI and you have this IUD, it's a direct link to your ovaries, and you'll damage your ovaries. And that's the end of you having kids. The only thing we can do is just manage the infection, but like once your ovaries, your tubes are damaged, that's it. And that's what I'm saying. Take your sexual health and sexual responsibility upon yourself. If you want to have sex and you genuinely want to use a condom, and this man is not willing to use a condom, he's not the only man you can have sex with. There's plenty of other people to have sex with. But for someone who is maybe like under pressure to have sex and they're not ready, and maybe for them they feel like they genuinely want to wait for marriage, just keep at it. There's nothing you're missing out on. There's nothing you're missing out on.
No,
there's nothing.
Lose out.
No, there's nothing you're missing out on. And one thing people don't realize is, if you go by biblically what it was, perhaps what God was trying to say, because sex is God's idea. He created sex, so how is it a bad thing? So he said, perhaps don't have sex until you're married. There's a reason as to why perhaps they saw it fit.
And the older you get, you understand.
The older you get,
you start seeing, and sex is a responsibility.
It is a responsibility. And one thing people don't know is the self-control that you have, or you need to cultivate during your single years before marriage. It's the same self-control you need when you're married, when you get into marriage.
So you're just doing practice. You're just practicing self-discipline.
Yes, because I can't be having sex today with anybody and everybody.
Then when you get married,
you expect, no. That's not how the human brain works. Yeah. That's not how the human brain works.
That's so true.
I can't be at a club every fucking day, and then I get married, I expect not to be at a club.
Now I'll change.
No, you can't change what you are. And I think that's why I think for me, I've just chosen to keep it that way, because I don't think I'm missing out on anything.
You aren't.
And the dating scene, or let's say the sex scenes in this Nairobi,
crazy.
I can't handle just one day walking into a hospital and I'm told you're sick. I don't know how I would handle that.
Yeah.
I can't. And then it's always hard on the woman.
Always.
If you get pregnant, it's still harder. Yeah, it's still harder on you. You're the one who'll stop your life. You're the one who'll have the stretch marks, the growing belly, the sagging belly.
Death is a possibility.
Girl.
It just keeps getting
And what
worse.
does the man do? Nothing. He's just fine.
He will be told on Gera, and then he'll have a new girlfriend in 3 months.
Yeah.
After
3 months is a long time. When you're pushing, he's cutting the nurse.
Oh my goodness. This is so true.
Think about it that way. You're doing to benefit this man when you're having sex. Maybe you don't even want it. You're doing
Maybe
it
you
to
don't
benefit.
even ejaculate.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't orgasm.
Maybe you don't even feel good.
Yeah.
But you just need to do it because you're in a relationship, and that's what you've been told people need to do, have sex. So if you don't do it, he's going to find someone else. And so what?
If he wants to find someone else, then that's exactly what he had planned to do from the beginning. And there's nothing you can do to change such a person.
You can't.
You can't sleep with someone enough to make them stay.
You can't. It's like having a child hoping someone will marry you. That's crazy.
And the crazy thing is actually, unajua hii stuff ni deep conditioning. Ni vitu tumeona mashosho zetu wakifanya, ma-auntie zetu, mama zetu. Alafu ni sisi mademo saizi, now we are trying to change everything, and it's bringing a bit of
we're shaking the tables.
Yeah, because I started talking about casual sex about 2, 3, 4 years ago, and that's when now the word situationships was starting to form, where it was a big thing where everyone was like, situationship, I'm in a situationship. And I used to ask women, what are you benefiting? Okay, fine,
you're in a situation.
Sawa, amazing. What's the benefits? What's the pros of this situation that you're in? And I had so many women tell me, sometimes women also just want sex.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
And I would say, okay, yeah, agreed, fine. But when it comes to the consequences of after sex, you're not, your biological makeup, venye tumesema, is not like the man.
It's not.
So let's not pretend you're not going to fall in love with this man after you sleep with him. Whether you like him or not, whether you whether there was anything going on, you start bonding after sex. You will start asking yourself questions like, why hasn't he called me this week? And it could be a guy you don't even want anything from.
You don't even like this nigga.
But just the fact that you guys have had sex, it makes all
some
these
sort
things
of attachment.
And I imagine I'm mpaka sahi, 4 years later, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is the benefit, because I feel like sex is not really a benefit to women, given the fact that women are not even enjoying sex.
And it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I think if you're having sex, you need to be having high quality sex. Like, it needs to blow your mind.
But how are you going to have high quality sex with someone who does not even want... You know, the reason they call it casual...
Yeah.
For us women, we have a different definition of situationship. It's like a guy who cares about you,
but like we're not committed,
stage, but it might get somewhere in time. But to men, that's just a girl I bang.
Yeah.
Once a week. Nothing else, nothing more.
And he probably has a wife, and he probably has a girlfriend.
Other girlfriend.
Yeah.
So if someone doesn't have the capacity to hold you in friendship, you know, ingekuwa casual sex inamaanisha he cares, you know, he's investing maybe in a friendship, he cares about
like even your own sexual health.
Exactly, about your sexual health, about your safety, about your mental well-being, about your emotional health.
Yeah.
These guys don't sit and ask you, how do you feel after sex? They don't do that. They sleep with you and then they ignore you so that you can go crazy. And I've been told I've been told by men.
Yeah.
The part where they discard you is not intentional. It's not I'm leaving Muyu. I want to have sex with Muyu and then I leave her. It's just a normal day to them. Ni sisi tuna overthink. As in yeye ni normal day. Ameamka leo.
You see what I'm saying?
Now go on about the day. We are the ones who sit there thinking, yani he's posting on IG and
he texted me good morning with a blue heart and not a pink heart and not a red heart. What does that mean?
Does it mean he doesn't like me anymore? You know, you start overthinking.
Yeah.
So to them, while they're just having a normal, casual Tuesday,
he doesn't even remember you guys had sex.
Because it was just sex. So what exactly? Nangoja Badoman. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments.
Yeah.
Tell me what exactly is the benefit of this situationships, and because there is no casual situation I have. What is even casual about my vagina?
Right?
What's casual about
you need to worship it,
bumping and touching each other?
There's nothing casual about it, honestly.
You know. So I'm. You guys should tell me.
Tell us in the comments. Maybe we're wrong.
Maybe kuna benefits na ni
and us we don't know, but we'll tell you if they are. But for now.
Oh my goodness. You've really brought about a different perspective of things. I've learned so much from you in this conversation that I hadn't thought about it in that way. I'm not as radical as I should be. I'm not as in there as I think I was.
Question everything.
Yes.
That's what I say. Question everything. I have an uncle, my dad's brother. He questions everything. I learned so much from him. Because he told me, like, the first thing, I think I was, like, 13. He was like, so how many days are there in a year? 365 or 366. And how many weeks were you told are in a year? 52. Is that math making sense to you?
It doesn't. And then now everyone is confused. Oh my God. This has been Heartfelt with Bobbie on DWJ, and my lovely guest was Muyu today. You guys, this conversation has blown my mind, like all the conversations we have here.
Yeah.
If you have any opinions, any questions, anything you want to say, if you want to buy Muyu a car and a house, and you know, if you want to, you know, endelea this conversation with us, please drop your comments and you can
keep it respectful.
Yes. Follow us on social media. My handles are Roberta Bobbie everywhere. And Love and Orgasms. Check out my blog and my podcast. Maybe share with us where people can find you.
So I'm not so active on social media.
Yeah.
I was, but now I'm not.
If he wants to buy you a car, where is he finding you?
This is my Instagram handle. Let me just confirm. mk.muyu. I was going to say WhatsApp. I'm losing my mind.
WhatsApp
I know.
Atatuambia kando. So thank you guys for staying with us throughout this hour, watching, listening to us. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
And until next time,
bye.
Toodles.